Welcome back to another castle video. Today I'm going to be updating the game to version 1.0.9. I'm planning now to add a new character, rework the character selection screen, and add the first mini boss. So let's get into it. So firstly, I'm going to add the new character because this is pretty much the easiest thing. How I do this is just I copy over another character, I make the design. For this character, I want like a sniper, long range type of person with low HP, like kind of fast movement speed. And I'm also going to be adding a new gameplay mechanic, but that's going to be in the next update of it. But yeah, I'm just going to make the design real quick. Okay, so I finished the design. I was thinking out, and then I created, this is like a human with like a scar through their other eye, like other eye doesn't work, and then they are gonna be like a sniper that like is really good at hitting shots from a long distance and stuff. So I'm planning to make his main projectile do more damage the further it travels, so I'm gonna try to make the main attack now. But also he's supposed to have a sniper, so I'm gonna have to do the same thing I did with the ranger enemy, which is give him hands, because they usually don't have hands. Very funny. Okay, so I didn't record this whole part here where I'm creating the bullet now and stuff, and the character animation I made this is because when I was recording, the software that takes my phone screen to my computer doesn't allow me to copy stuff when I tap on the three dots here, so that's something. Anyway, the animation goes like this, where person pulls out a gun. This is the sniper rifle I'm talking about. It has to be a little bit shortened because it's like under the person, but anyway. And then they shoot it because you have the bullets, and basically what's gonna happen, it's gonna play this animation when it's created to create the effect of the sniper rifle shooting, with like the effect. And here's the actual bullet. When it hits a person, then it'll go like this. So I'm just putting over all the stuff I need for a bullet, like the tags. So I forgot to copy the bullets, and that's just the best way to do it because it already has everything I need on it, so I'll do that. Okay, so I've been grinding a little bit, getting the thing right for Raptor, and now I finished his main attack and his kind of movement and everything. So let me just play a quick round with him. When he is just solo and there's no enemies close by, he goes in this mode where he runs a bit faster, and if you try to shoot, you can't shoot because he's not holding out his gun. That's because when he holds out his gun, he's slower. So like this point, you can just run around. Once you hold the gun, become a little bit slower, and then every time you shoot, I wasn't supposed to give the guy pierce, I'll try to take it away. But when you shoot, you have a slight delay in the bottom right, because he's a sniper, you can't be spamming out shots. Each shot I think does 20 damage, and each enemy has 50, the rangers have 25. So he does feel like a nice sniper. And once you kill all the enemies like that's close to you, if I can do that, you should put away your gun, but that's when the enemies are not close. So you see, now you go back to your normal mode and you run faster. That's what I've done. Also, to see what enemy you're shooting, it has a slight white thing around them. I don't know if you can tell, but then it just shows what you can attack. And this guy will probably get overwhelmed quite easily. Actually, I'm gonna leave the PS on him. It should be fine. So now I'm gonna create his super, what is gonna be a bullet that's gonna ricochet between all the people. So I'm gonna make that real quick. Okay, so I've been working on it for some time, and now I'm finally done with Raptor. If I go in the game now and I put on Raptor Play 1, because I use the play function to determine if the person's gonna play that character, and then once you select it, it goes up one, and then when you get into the main card, it'll spawn in the character that you chose. So once I press play, here's Raptor. I fixed some things, but mostly I just made that super. So basically the super he has now, it correlates more with his gameplay I want him to be, because So I want Raptor to be a damage dealer and like a single target damage dealer, because the super before when I was making it was an area attack, but I just wanted to be one big shot that does like a lot of damage. So let me just charge it up real quick. And we don't have much higher HP enemies, but I want to make a mini boss today, so we're gonna have that, and then I'll probably retest. Okay, so I can shoot at anyone. It does 60 damage, what will one shot anyone here. So now that I made that, I'm gonna move on to reworking the UI. What's gonna be a harder thing to do, but I have a few ideas in mind. So here's the UI. I didn't add the new character yet, but I want to make it in a smaller pattern or smaller grids and stuff. So when you tap on, there's going to be about section or description section. When you tap on it, it'll close one icon and then it'll show the description. It'll just have to be shortened and lessened. But I just want 2 icons per row with the same space as taken up now. I'm gonna do a little reshuffling and see if I get anywhere. I'll tell you guys if anything happens. So it's day 2. I've been working on the UI system and I'm finished it right now. I just need to add the new character Raptor to it. But basically, I was thinking, and this is not a finalized version, or it's a version I'm gonna do for this update, but I'm gonna keep on improving it because I'm not too happy with it. But anyway, what we got is, like, you have the 3 characters, you can still unlock them if you have enough money and then do that stuff, but there's a details button below it. When you tap on the details button, it'll take you to a different part. It'll move the camera with the actor to a different part, and then it'll tell you the stats of this character. You can do it for all the characters like Neon. Some of them are animated. It tells you everything you need to know, because that's what I really wanted beforehand, and I wanted to add that. So as you can see here, I just basically, when you tap on the details button, all it does, it tells the character to move its position to TP1. What is this little dot here I make? I always use dots for teleporting things or creating things in certain places. So this is called TP1. So basically what it does, it tells the character what the camera is focusing on. And this character is not a movable character or anything. It's just to make the camera move around, and it follows this because it has a character tag, and this is just a tracking camera. So it takes you to this place and to each dot. Every time you press back, it tells the character to move back to this UI spawner, what I just made at this. This has center, and then this TP's back here. So it does that for the rest of the things. And so, like, what's basically gonna happen, I'm just gonna keep on adding new detail pages like this. This is the same thing really what I'm doing with the patch notes. It's just a little bit different. So let me get Raptor in here and make his profile and everything. He's also going to be costing money. I'm going to make him 200 as well, the same price as Infernix for now. There's still like 2 major things, like gameplay things I want to add next update, like I said. But after this, I'm going to do the mini boss. Okay, so I finished creating it. It took like 2 hours or something, but it's quite long. But I'm quite happy of what is like happened now. So we have Raptor here. We're going to keep on adding downwards, and then eventually I'm going to make a scroll wheel, so you have to scroll down and then get those characters. But if you go in the game, you can press unlock on Raptor. He's 200, like I said. You can press details. It takes you to here, put down all the things about him, and you can press back. Also added slight movement, so I also, when you tap, it goes smaller and then bigger. It just feels really nice. And if you want to do this, I got this from long time ago from another deck, and then I remixed it and I took that logic from it. So like how it works is, it's basically in 2 modify layouts, is modify width and the height. But what it does, I don't fully know, but every like as low seconds as it can, it modifies the scale to make it slowly smaller, and then at a certain point when it reaches a certain number, it slowly becomes bigger again, and it does this nice smooth animation using sign and time elapsed on the card. So I'm guessing when it reaches 5 seconds, it's stops getting smaller and starts getting bigger. When it reaches 10, it goes smaller again. And to make it when you tap and it goes small like that, all you have to do, because it's repeating, you just have to say when tapped, modify the layout to whatever you want it to be. So like 1.5, then when you tap it, it will go small and then go slowly back again. And it makes so much things smoother in this game. So it's really nice to have that. So now time for the final thing I wanted to add. I want to add a small mini boss. So for this, I'm thinking just a quite basic one, because we can still get into later updates where we do more advanced things. So I'm gonna take the regular zombie and I'm just gonna make the guy bigger, more HP. And the distinction between normal enemies, mini bosses, and then later on bosses is the mini bosses is gonna have one attack and a special ability they're gonna do. Then the bosses are gonna have like 4 abilities and maybe even 2 main attacks, and the HP will be there and it'll change forms or whatever I do when I get there. Yeah, I'm gonna just quickly make this guy and I'll see you guys when I'm done. Hello, so it's day 3 now. I worked on this update for some time, finally finished everything pretty polished. There was a long process that I was doing not by my setup all the time, so did a lot of things off camera. But let me just show you the result now. Don't mind my character having 909 HP, but I fixed the enemies spawning, or I didn't fix, I just made it more bearable, so the enemies will come at a more steady pace and then the difficulty will ramp up way more easier. But as you can see, they have HP bars. I added that. I figured out when I was making my mini boss, I wanted a charge bar, and then I made the charge bar for its ability. Then I thought it could also be a HP bar, so I put it on all the enemies. Also gonna put it on the characters, but I'll do that a little bit later. It's just a little bit repetitive. When you hit them, the HP of them goes down and then their bar gets destroyed and stuff like that. But I am having slightly a lag problem, so I'm gonna have to figure out that soon, because there's a lot of enemies of course, but you should be able to play the game at least with all these enemies here. But yeah, here's the mini boss I made, the Dread Zombie. It has an HP bar on the top and then the charge bar underneath. Every time the charge bar goes up and it gets close enough to it, it creates a fireball kind of attack, what lands and then makes fire damage. And when I stand on it, you see I'm on fire now, it ticks for 2 damage. So it basically, that's its main mechanic and its kind of ability thing. And oh my days, there is so many enemies, my game is lagging so much. Also, after it lags so much, some of the enemies just stop moving and stuff. But it also has 200 HP. I'm still trying to fix the lag problem. I think to fix the lag problem, I'm gonna have to make the enemy spawn way less at the start. And instead of creating more enemies, I'm gonna have to increase the enemy's stats. So I mean, it'll make it infinite then, because the HP of the enemy will just go up and up. So if I go into my mini boss now, the Dread Zombie, it has a lot of things going on here, but let's start with the charge attack. So because it tells that, and it says modify its position to the person that created it, because this zombie created it, it's going to stay above the zombie all the time. Did the same thing for the HP. And if I go onto the charge bar now, it's in 2 sections. This is the back, it's just the background that does the same thing here but doesn't move. And then this, what I did for when it charges up and down, the thing I used is basically when it's created, it just constantly makes the width scale. That's the thing that's increasing and decreasing. It makes it go up until it reaches 3, the width scale of 3. Then once it reaches 3, it's gonna keep it there and change the frame to another color. Then it'll add the charge, it'll modify the charge variable onto the enemy to make it +1. So then the enemy creates an attack, and then the attack does its own thing. And for the HP on the enemy, I just say basically when the HP is less than or equal to 160, because that's 200 max, it will make it go a little bit smaller, the width scale, and it'll make the frame go 1 up because it slowly gets more red. And I did that for everything, and then when it's 0, it just destroys itself because the character's dead. I also added a hit thing for it, and the same thing with the name. I just made it hover above it. And for the character spawning, I made, like, this was a really big problem, but I half solved it, or like I'm very close to getting it really where I want it to be, because right now it creates very good at the start. It's just, I think I'm just gonna decrease the upgrading or decrease its chances, but it's gonna create a random, it's gonna modify the active variable random to 1 to 100. So it's going to choose one number out of there. This is going to do every 1 second, and let's say if it's 36, it's not going to do anything, but if it's 1, it's going to say if active variable equals 1, it's going to create the zombie. So it's basically 1 out of 100 odds every 1 second, meaning it creates slow amount at the start, but then here where it says retries, there's another variable called retries, and it just repeats the thing. So the upgrader, basically all it does is just makes the repeat more, so it tries more times every 1 second. So let's say it tries 5 times, and it has 5 times to try to spawn it, and it can spawn either 5 times or only 1 time during that. And I did the same thing for everything, just made the odds for the mini boss higher. And I think I need to make the odds for these things a little bit higher, but I don't want to get the numbers too high. So I did that on everything and made it spawn everywhere. And here's the upgrader. All it does every 10 seconds, it just modifies the retries higher and higher. I say repeat every 10 seconds, but I think I should make it 30 seconds. Maybe that's a bit wild. I'll make every 20 seconds for this. And then I also reworked the super ability for Raptor that I'll show you now. So when I go into a game with Raptor, I added the HP bar to Raptor. I still need to add to everyone else, but it's generally not that hard to do that. I just use the same thing that Zombie used, just with the HP of the actual character. I made the super start. When you start the game, you have it just for testing. But I didn't change the icon yet, but basically I didn't like the fact that it was just one big shot. That was not my intended purpose. I always wanted it to bounce. I just didn't figure out a way how to do it. But now I figured out a way that 75% works. It looks a bit jank sometimes, but when you press the ability, it basically jumps between all the people, and it hits them one time. It moves to a tag with untapped or something like that. Then when it hits it, it removes that tag, and then that enemy will add the tag back later. So it constantly goes to different enemies. It just ricochets between them. That's the main thing. I am currently having a problem with the HP bar just not disappearing sometimes though. So that's interesting. But that's basically the updates for version 1.09. Quite a big update, I must say. But I'm just looking to improve a lot of things. If you guys want any tutorials on any specific things from this game or whatever, I'll try to make a tutorial for that if I know how to do it. But thank you guys so much for the support. See you guys next time, and bye bye.